Welcome to video 3000. Whatever you have to add to this, context, further meaning of its parts, feel free to do so. But some basic phrase meanings of 3000. I don't mean phrases that equal 3000 in terms of numeric value, but some basic phrase meanings we have. Your natural levels. Uncertain. Discontent. We have the word dukkha, in Buddhism. See the means differently. Educational music. Visions of creativity. Power within and without. 32 divisors. Enemies that capture the strong. Ascent in the 3 created worlds. Holy Spirit. Clearly more than massive. And so some Greek phrases, using Greek words that occur in the Bible, we have akomen, kilion, has 1,000, antikatestaste ma, tral u e ace, resist the murderer. Well, certainly if a murderer is trying to kill you. Phos, ophthalmon, light of the eye. Kro, katats, akshe, use cooling. Ekomen, kailiun, have a lip. Taflos, dunaem et os, blind power. Antikates ta te, pine own tes, resist hunger. So allow us to look at the scripture of this age for, of course, Surah 3, verse 1, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, those 19 letters, in the name of God as a noun and a verb, the beneficent, the merciful, and Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, if you put a couple zeros behind, instead of 3 zeros, a couple of zeros behind 30. Again, the giver of this world, the giver of the afterworld, the astonishing. But 136 is verse number 2000. Verse number 3000. Okay. Doing 3 videos very close to each other here. I didn't turn as quick as I would think. But, okay, 136. Qalu sawan alina wa'aztam amdakum min al-wa'ithin. And certainly we end up with another response of what people said to the message. And it certainly ends up being true with some people, that it doesn't matter whether they hear it or they don't hear it. Of course, that doesn't mean you don't share things with people. It's just, it ends up being their choice. Exodus 17:11. And it came to pass, when Moses held up his hand, that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. And that's how a lot of things are in life, is that when we're involved in it, yeah, trust in spiritual powers and stuff, but whether you're worshiping God and whatever happens to be on its side, or whatever, but you gotta, gotta be involved with it with your own power, represented by the hand. But Numbers 33:4. For the Egyptians buried all their firstborn, which God as a noun and verb had smitten among them, upon their powers also God as a noun and verb executed judgment. Yahweh, I hate how it uses the word Lord, 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 Lord when it's Yahweh. Yahweh never translates as Lord. And we get the impressions of Kyrie, which is spiritual master, which has been taken into this thing of, oh, Jesus is, by being called spiritual master, was really being called God. And that's not where the Greek actually leads you with that. But God as a noun and verb is something different, and I want to make that crystal clear, that I'm not falling into that thing. Of course, just because there were problems with the Egyptians at one point doesn't mean that they're not God's, they can't be God's people now, or anything ridiculous like that. It's like, oh, well, thousands of years ago the Egyptians did this, so we hate the Egyptians. I met a Jewish professor that was like that. I don't want nothing. The guy avoided even mentioning that Persians and Egyptians and real Semitic people existed. But again, when I say there's problems with the Jews or any other group, I'm not saying everybody. Even if it's in their book, there's plenty of people who see beyond it, their own personal beliefs and practices are their own responsibility for whatever their tradition is. So, and there's conflicting teachings in most traditions. So, what are you going to follow? 1 Chronicles 9:16, and Obadiah the son of Shemaiah, the son of Galal, the son of Jeduthun, and Berechiah, the son of Asa, the son of Elkanah, that dwelleth in the villages of the Netophathites. It's, at some point I'm going to, you kind of want to see the original to see, is the name right? If I was to look at a meaning, would I not even be saying something that means the same? Because the as it approached English, it became something different. Ecclesiastes 3:10. And then we'll go into phrases from English, right? And then we'll have 3003. It's tomorrow. 3:10. I have seen the travail which God hath given to the sons of men to be exercised in it. What don't kill you, make you more strong. Well, that's not good linguistic use, but you get the point. We weren't here to just be lazy. It's the adversity that makes us stronger. And you're going to see things that I don't agree with, particularly once you get into something more varied like English and stuff. I like to put a variety of meanings, stuff that's true, stuff that's not true, to give you the idea that if you're just looking at something symbolically to just meet your thing, that the number values, just look up, snake and Messiah or different, various other things. It's sort of a warning. Whatever measure you meet. And 9,000 from the tribe of Dan is 153,000. The Bible does have clear contradictions in some things. To that point, but that's not really biblical phrase, but resurrection word of the Hebrew Kabbalah. And when we're using Hebrew, that is something we can do, Qaf, Beit, Lamed, Hey. It's rendered in various ways when you put it in English letters, and some of that will cue you in on what tradition is actually being followed. Who made you, my God and judge? We form opinions all the time. We have independence. But people will respond with stuff like this. Like, you must think you're the Almighty. It's like, oh, no, I don't. To claim that you know something I don't, it's like, no, it's not claiming to be a know-it-all. It's just you're claiming to know what you're talking about. Some people may get jumbled in what they have to say, but that doesn't mean they're, but honestly, you talk privately to professors and stuff like this, and it's like, they're basically okay. Like it's learning stuff that they don't, that they don't that didn't personally come out of their mouth. That if something comes up in conversation with someone, they're like, "Oh well, I didn't know about that, and I'm the professor, and I know." It's like, you're not downgrading anybody to have a different thing. So but never believe in Islam. Oh, never believe Islam, or you'll get cursed. Well, if people are going to curse you because they don't like what you believe, let them. Go right ahead. That's your problem, not mine, or whatever. My new mattress is so hard, I hardly slept. Enjoy the Freemasons' labyrinth of deception, people of the lie. Again, people, they don't know about secret societies, so they're going to run their mouth about secret societies. Maybe the moon is a cleverly disguised alien eyeball. There's some pretty ridiculous things. I try not to do this sort of thing, but I got in a Twitter argument with somebody who apparently believed that graphics that people would come up to show, all the planets all at once, says, this is a NASA picture of the planets all lined up as one, and it's like, it's not even, if they are using real photographs for it, it's not even cropped to the point where you're not losing part of a planet because, like the corner or something, or not, it wasn't quite that obvious, but it was pretty obvious. Being honest doesn't always mean negative. Devil's playground. Race, religion, culture, tradition. Again, whatever's claimed about those things, yeah, people have issues. I know there's racial and other differences between human beings, but overall we're equal. Um, and some things it's not inherent; it's the situation that someone's put in, and people from one group versus another may, you know, the only way out is to transform. There's a guy I interviewed, he's mentioned on the questions list. He actually wants to become a transsexual. You know, his leader, his so-called Christ, considered himself a woman, and now he's considering himself a man again, and therefore he's telling his followers, "Well, there's no way you're going to have sex with me as a dude unless you get a sex change, and it's going to count like I'm having sex with like I'm not gay." It's like, if this is to tell yourself that you're not gay, if you have to call yourself a woman or call some guy a woman, you have some problems to work out. Powerful dark wizards. Wizard means wise man. There's a lot of words that are used in popular culture that aren't quite used right. So I guess the sheer irony of the so-called Illuminati groping blindly in the darkness. LOL. A thunder and lightning. Awesome. Wonder of God. Well, if God is the God of this world and age, certainly the powers of this universe are meant to bring awe to us. And that's what you see in some of the words for God, aside from the whole God as a noun, God as a verb sort of thing you find. It's like Ilahi, Aliha is astonishing or something like that. Um, you have, I cannot tell you how happy all of this has made me. That's a message to draw attention to, is becoming joyful in what is. But again, don't become deluded. Discontent comes from being attached. Oh, speak, eternal light, your sacred word of creation, the God that speaks and it is done. A plan happens, and that plan, who is the king of the Jews? Some people are going to, Jared Kushner, and it's like, whatever. Whoever the secular Zionism false messiah is, it's not really of any concern to me yet until it happens, or if I have to respond to a particular thing or whatever. Sometimes I don't have to respond, but I like to involve myself in necessary conflict sometimes. I don't like stress, but Home Sweet Home 2015. Money received by me regarding my dad today. Now, what can happen with one's parents? It's not, there's some issues that a person might want to look at, that you be very careful. It's like, okay, it's good when stuff happens, like getting money, but you don't want people to die to get money. And that's the problem with insurance, is that not only does it take money away from several families or so to pay for one person to get even a portion of these big payoffs, because it all funds up to the country. People don't help their relatives. They don't have money to do repairs and stuff like that they may look at the current time. But the hoping for people to die so you can get money, that's some messed up stuff. I am that I am's newborn son with goddess Jean. Again, this arrogance that people consider themselves gods. Demons, yeah, I'll go for that one. But Muhammad Rasulullah in 12 dimension. Well, if there is multiple dimensions, certainly a spiritual proclamation like Muhammad ibn Abdullah is the messenger of God, the messenger prophet. That's certainly something that could be done on whatever level you're aware of. I saw I was Hebrew. Now, Hebrew, Greek, Arabic, whatever, the learning of the language, okay. But the physical descent, that is something different. Remember the Semitic people, as far as a racial type, are darker than most of what we look at in my country and call black. Of course, when you're physically describing people, you've got to involve yourself in such language, but it's in most conversation it's not necessary, I don't. But anyways, they had an appearance: black woolly hair, and brown skin. Free energy will change everything. A lot of these free handouts, it's not going where you might think it would. Stuck in Wizard's World. Now, wisdom is important. Cultivate wisdom. But with these oracles are places to find meaning and messages. Control what you're doing with it. And don't get stuck in this, I gotta be smarter, I gotta be, well, you do want to try to be smarter and stuff, but this sense of superiority and using your knowledge to manipulate, there are issues with that sort of thing.